Hey, folks, welcome to InTheMoneyStocks.com's intraday analysis video brought to you by the creators of proprietary price, pattern, and time methodology. Learn the PPT strategies and profit for life. My name is Gareth Soloway, Chief Market Strategist here at InTheMoneyStocks.com. All right, guys, let's get right into the action today. Nice rally on Wall Street. We finally broke above the key 147.10 level. And again, you knew it was a possible breakout yesterday when we finally closed on the 10-minute candles above that level and actually confirmed. So again, yesterday this is something I talked to my premium members about inside the research center. But again, you have to know the proprietary technique of confirmation. That's something we've created. If you know that it confirmed yesterday above that level. Even though we closed below it by the end of the day, you actually never confirmed back below. Therefore, it's still a valid short-term breakout. Markets responded today with a gap up, and it was a gap and go. And again, if we zoom out, take a look at this level. I mean, this is how good this level was that we were tracking. Notice that pivot high, this in spirit of hit, this one, and then late yesterday, the breakout occurred, and today it followed through. So again, we've now come up and taken out the highs on the S&P and the SPY. Please note that this is the 52-week high right here, and we are now above it. I've been calling for this, and the calls continue to be dead on. All right, what have I been saying? Well, I've been saying, bottom line is we saw huge amounts of money flow from retail investors. That's going to last for a few weeks. All right, you expect that to last for a few weeks. I said we take out the 148 double top 52-week high on the S&P or the SPY here, and then we'd track towards the 150 level. I think we actually will hit 150. And then once we hit 150, you look for the markets to finally stall out. Debt ceiling talk will start to progress into early February, and I think at that point the markets will fall back. Until then, I don't really see much negativity out there. All right, I think this market's in such light volume mode, and the retail investor, the light volume is affected by the retail investor. If there was heavy volume, the retail investor would have no consequence on the market. Their volume wouldn't matter. But because it's so light, this is going to continue. All right, now again, you're going to have flat day, flat day, flat day, up day, flat day, flat day, flat. It's going to essentially be a staircase up, and that's exactly what we've seen here. So basically, if we take this little pivot high here on the SPY, you can see we jumped up on the fiscal cliff issues that were resolved early in the year, and then you kind of went sideways to lower. Then you came up here to the next level right into this resistance. Let me draw that line. And you went sideways. Now you've broken out. Now you're hitting that high, that 52-week high pierce. And again, you generally expect neutralish type action after one of these types of days before a little bit more upside. Again, the 150 level is what you're looking for on the SPY, which is about a $1.50, $1.60 away at this point. Not that far away. That's like 15, 20 points on the S&P. I mean, 2 more decent days and you're right there. And then I think once we hit that, that's where the market again should stall out and begin to pull back. All right, I think that's the key. So exactly what I've been saying, nailed it 100%. Markets continue to do their thing here, and again, there's a lot of bears that are now getting changed into bulls, which is good. You want more and more of those. As the methodology shows, we need it to be. You basically have to convert the bears into the bulls, and then once the bulls are all on board and everyone's a bull, that's when the markets will top and reverse. I mean, it's all a matter of understanding market psychology along with everything else. All right, so that's what we have right there on the spiders. Taking a look at the dollar, down about 4 cents today. The UUP again, which is the dollar ETF, just tracking slowly lower, which is helping the markets go up. One thing to note here, you have the head and shoulders pattern on the UUP, and again, just clearly drawing it in right here. There's your head, and here's your shoulder. So again, we have not broken yet, so you don't have a head and shoulders that's in play. You have to break the neckline, which is right here, but it's getting close. And again, that would be a small positive for the markets. My guess is you're going to break this neckline, and then it's actually going to fail and go back up. That's my anticipation. All right, so we'll see if that ends up coming to fruition. And again, I think once it breaks, that's where the market hits the 150 level. Then when it fails, that's where the markets start to pull back. We'll continue to track that along. Gold is having another solid day today. Gold had a great reversal today on the economic news that came out at 10 o'clock. Most people didn't understand why gold would have shot up at 10 o'clock like it did. Gold initially opened lower here on the 200 and then just ripped higher at 10 a.m. Eastern time. The answer, many people might say, well, why? The answer is simple. The economic news was somewhat poor at 10 o'clock today, and remember, poor economic news is actually good because it means the Federal Reserve will keep funding the market through their infusion of quantitative easing. Okay? And through that matter, the market wants it. Remember, they're addicted. The markets are addicted here. And by doing that, they want the QE. So actually, the market wants neutral to decent, to kind of that neutral-ish economic data. Nothing crazy. You don't want anything great because that means the Fed's going to pull back. You want good economic data, not great, and that's exactly what we saw today on the midsection, kind of even a little on the poor side, which means more QE. Looking at stocks out there, eBay reported earnings after the bell yesterday. The stock is doing pretty well, up $1.50, but lots of stocks are doing well today with this nice little rally. Amazon continues to move up another $2.25 today. Not quite back to the highs, which were a few days ago, but it still looks like it's tracking into earnings here and getting a nice push. All right, one of the small caps I gave out to my members in the chat room today is rocking and rolling here. ZHNE, this small cap, they report earnings next week. The company said in the previous quarters that the fourth quarter would be profitable. Assuming it is, this small cap could have a monster move up on earnings. And again, something I'll be tracking very closely. A lot of my members already picked it up inside the intraday stock chat around the 153 level today as it continues to move up. Short term, you're looking at the 200 MA, maybe even higher if they turn a profit. I mean, it's a 58-cent stock right now. If they start turning profits, I mean, it could go north of $1 very, very quickly. So ZHNE, nice one there, getting a good boost today. And again, beautiful rounded bottom. Look at where the stock was just earlier this year. It was, close to $1.50, $1.60. Now it's trading just off a beautiful little cup formation, and maybe even get a handle and a breakout, or maybe just a full-fledged move up here if they can turn that profit. So it's just something to keep an eye on here. Symbol is ZHNE. It's called Zone Technologies, ZHNE. Another stock I gave in the intraday stock chat today, the biggest winner of the day was a small cap. This was a no-brainer. Symbol CALI. Cali up $1. Get that, folks. Up $1. I gave this out at $2.75 today as an alert in the intraday stock chat right here. All right, and again, beautiful little area right there. Look at the move. Goes from 275 right up to 350. It just made a new high at 363. Think about that as an intraday alert, a stock that goes up 30%, 35% intraday. That's awesome. That is awesome, folks. So awesome trade right there. If you're in the intraday stock chat, you had a lot of possibility to make huge profits on that one. And again, just to know that the Chinese stocks were hot, this was a former awesome play and continues to be that. So we'll continue to watch it, see how it plays out, but that's looking very, very good. Let's take a look at JPM, which reported earnings yesterday. The financials are really the only area that's somewhat weak today because Citigroup reported earnings, which were mediocre, and Bank of America as well. So those ones definitely looking a little bit on the weaker side today after a great move yesterday. Goldman's actually positive. That one had the greatest earnings of all, and that's just up 43 cents in this rally. But nonetheless, those stocks are weak. Apple Computer continues to be weak, or Apple Inc. as it's called now. This had a great rally yesterday on an investor recommendation. A well-known investor said it's going back up here. The bottom's in. I actually think that was a pop-up, and it's going to go back down. It's got a flush to the key level of about 470. All right, once it flushes to 470, I think at that point you probably do have a short-term bottom, but it never got there. Therefore, it's got to go there at some point. So it's on a rally today to see Apple negative is very negative for the stock itself. Okay. Let me see what else we have here. See if there's anything else on watch. Scanning through here. We have Chevron doing well today. Beautiful move on Chevron. Chevron trading upwards of closing in on 116. The beautiful thing about Chevron here is you got to gap window and now you're heading for gap fill. There's a ton of resistance up here, guys. Ton of resistance on Chevron coming up. It should be a great shorting opportunity if it gets especially to that 117-ish area. But even in this range, it's starting to hit resistance as an extended play. All right. I think that's about it. Great setups here. Great profits continue to be generated, and again, it's just a matter of knowing what to look for, analyzing correctly, learning the proprietary strategies we teach, and the profits flow. So again, come to InTheMoneyStocks.com, take the 7-day free trial to the Research Center if you're a swing trader or an investor, and if you're a day trader, look for the intraday stock chat. That's where we generated huge profits today on that Cali, and even ZHNE, which now just hit 60 cents. This thing should go up even more. I mean, it's only up 2 cents on the day now, 58 cents. ZHNE could see huge moves to the upside, especially if those earnings come out where the company said they would. Now, that's the big question, but at least rallying into earnings you would expect. All right, again, take care. Have a great afternoon, great evening. I will talk to you all tomorrow.